Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be going over all of the B tier events that have happened this past weekend. You're going to have Gaming Hotel 2023 taking place in Europe. You're going to have Jingy #2 taking place in Japan. And you're going to have Riptide 2023 taking place in America. We're going to be going over all of these events and let's just get right into it. So we'll kick it off by going over Gaming Hotel 2023 as it was the smallest B tier of the weekend. For our top 8 finishers, you're going to have Deoxys and Jaka in 7th, Super Semi and Nader U in 5th, Cosmos in 4th, Siski in 3rd, Tarek in 2nd, and winning the entire thing you had Leon. I'll talk about Cosmos really quick because he was the only invader at the event. Did go pretty much solo pyro from this event, at least from what I saw, was able to get wins over players like Sick Boy, Jaka, which honestly, you wouldn't probably expect Cosmos to be a low tier warrior, but he managed to do it in this bracket, as well as Super Semi, which I think is probably his most notable win. And again, he went back to Aegis here, so I don't know if he's completely done with Inkling Core, and I can't imagine he's going to fully abandon the characters. And honestly, what I would like to see from Cosmos is maybe a tri-main. Honestly, a duo main between Corrin and Aegis is probably the correct choice, but I don't want to say that he should fully drop Inkling, because I do believe that if anyone can get some crazy results with Inkling, it would be Cosmos. And honestly, Inkling's been doing fairly well this year. Space has been getting some good results. Shirayuki's been getting some good results. Shower's on the up and up, just had an amazing performance at Meisuma top 14. So even though Cosmos seems like he's going back to the Aegis, which I don't think is a bad choice, I don't think he's going to fully abandon the Inkling and the Corrin. Now, there wasn't a ton of upsets at this event, at least in terms of the top 8 seeds. 7 of them ended up getting into the top 8. The only one who didn't was Entei, who ended up getting 9th place. It was in the Siski in the winner side. Can't feel too bad about that. And Deoxys in the loser side of bracket. I think Baloth does pretty well versus Steve. Entei had to go min-min game 3, which was the only game that he took, by the way. Also, I didn't even know Entei had a min-min, but I guess you learn something new every day. And I gotta say, it was really nice to see Deoxys at this tournament. I don't know if I'm just missing MK Leo or if it's just because he's been playing a lot more Aegis or he's just taking a step back, but it feels like there's a Byleth-shaped hole in every single major top 8 now. It just feels like something is missing, and players like Deoxys, players like Riziasu, players like Justin Byleth, I think they have the potential to not definitely fill the gap that MK Leo has, because you're going to need to be a top 10 player in the world to do that, but he has the potential to take the mantle up as the best Byleth in the world. I truly do believe that from Deoxys. I think he's a very impressive player, not including Leo, of course, because let's be realistic here, it is still MK Leo, and his Byleth is different. I also want to shout out Jaka, who ended up getting 7th place at this event as well. Deoxys got 7th, by the way. I don't know if I said that, but Jaka, I mean, the consistency that this guy has with Isabel and the picks that this guy has with Isabel are so crazy to me. He's definitely the best Isabel in the world. I feel like I've been saying that a couple times now, but just in case you haven't heard, Jaka is crazy with that character. And the last player I want to shout out in specific is going to be Leon, because his run is very impressive to win this event. He ends up beating Kepler, Super Semi, Siski, and double eliminates Tarek from the bracket even after getting reset in the grand finals. Just looks super clean there. I think Leon is a player that honestly kind of gets left out of the super top European conversation, because when you're thinking of Europe's best right now, you're thinking obviously Gluto, obviously Bloom. You're going to throw Lugi in there, you're going to throw Siski in there, I throw Quake in there, I throw Super Semi in there, but Leon is a player that I feel like kind of gets left to the wayside, even though he is absolutely insane, and also he's one of the best Crom players in the world, so that definitely means that we have to give him more credit, and I think we just have to give Europe as a region more credit, because I have been very impressed by them as of late, especially after Terra. I was already high on Europe before Terra, then they defended the house, not only from Japan, keeping Japan entirely out of the top 8, but winning the entire tournament. I was so just impressed. I think that's the best word I can say. Europe has come so far as a region. I know the bar was very, very low because they went from a one-man region to a multiple-man region, but I feel like at this point, Europe is a region that has multiple frontrunners who could get in the top 8. I could see Glutini getting top 8. I could see Bloom getting top 8. Those are kind of the obvious ones. Siski, though, absolutely. Quick, absolutely. Lugi, absolutely. Tarek, absolutely. There are so many top European players that I think can top 8 these super major events, even if they're not within Europe. So Europe as a region, y'all have been doing absolutely incredible. Still got a little bit of catching up to do, but they've come so far. Editing proof block here. I just forgot to mention Rafflo and the players that could top 8 a major from Europe, even though he literally top 8 at Terra, so that's my bad. On to our next event of Jingi #2. For our top 8 finishers, you're going to have Aka and Takai in 7th, Umeki and Aim in 5th, Subo in 4th, Huto in 3rd, Yamanakshin in 2nd, and taking the entire thing, you had Fire. And let's talk about that run right now, because oh my lord, not out of nowhere from Fire, because he was the 33rd seed, but pretty much from nowhere, he wins this event. Prior to this, his best event at a major was 65th at Kagura B10. Here he was able to collect wins on Umeki, Matara, Aka, Subo, and 2 wins on Yamanashi. For context, Fire's entire player card on PG Stats is 2 pages long, and there is 1 single tournament on that second page. He is a very new player to competitive Smash, and this is an incredible run from him. I mean, 2023 and 2022 have just been the year where it's like, yeah, every month or so there's going to be a new Japanese prodigy that you have to worry about, and it seems like Fire is next on the chopping block. Also, for anyone that is unfamiliar with Fire, he plays Aegis. We did have a little bit more upsets at this tournament. You're going to have Repo, Noi, and Toraguri all being top 8 seeds who ended up not making it. You're going to have Repo losing to Goryoka in the winner's side of bracket and then falling to Umeki in the loser's side of bracket. Kind of just unlucky that you get Umeki in the loser's side of bracket because, spoilers, he goes on a crazy losers run. And then you're going to have Subo eliminating both Toraguri and Noi in the winner's side of bracket, which is fairly insane. Then you're going to have Toraguri play up against Takai, ends up getting 13th place of the event. So it's definitely an underperformance by seeding, but also he's playing Banjo. These inconsistencies are just going to happen, so I wouldn't really worry about it too much. And for Noi as well, also fell to the run of Umeki. So Repo and Noi kind of got Umeki'd, and then Toraguri is playing Banjo-Kazooie. So all of these underperformances I can excuse. And let's actually talk about that Umeki run right now because it is so good. He lost to Fire in the last stage of pools and then absolutely turned on the heaters in the losers bracket, beat Mimo, Limac, Chicken, Repo, and Noi to be able to get into the top 8. Once in the top 8, he was able to beat Aka as well before finally falling to Huto. So an amazing run from Umeki. I mean, he's always been a super solid player in Japan, the best Daisy in the world. Obviously, muteace is probably going to be the best Peach player in the world, but Umeki has some pretty crazy Peach stuff that even muteace isn't doing. His task skills are absolutely through the roof, so big ups to Umeki. Just an amazing player. And the rest of this top 8 is full of players that I feel like do not get nearly enough credit. In 7th, you're going to have Takai and Aka. Aka, I feel like people are aware enough now because he is the best hero in the world, and he has been the best hero in the world for a little bit. Though that is a title that he could lose, you're going to have Takai as well. I feel like it's overshadowed by Ken, especially Sonics, on how well he's been doing. But Takai, still a very talented player that I think is incredible. I'm definitely the best Sheik in the world. I know there's conversations for Mr. R, for Rocks. No, it is I'm. This guy is ridiculously good with this character. He's the only player in the world that has consistent results with Sheik. I guess Rocks maybe could have consistent results with Sheik, but we don't know. But I'm has proven himself over and over again to be the best Sheik player in the world. Subo as well did really well at Meisuma top 14 last weekend. Ended up getting 9th place there, just shy of top 8ing it. Was able to get a top 4 finish at this event with the combination of Olimar and Joker. Sorry, my mic cut out there, but I was just reinstating the fact that Subo beat both Noi and Toraguri, who were both top 8 seeds at this event. So huge ups to him for that. A top 4 finish is very impressive. Huto as well. Huto's a player that I feel like sometimes just pops off super hard. And then he goes a little bit quiet for a couple months, and then he pops off super hard. This was one of those pop-off events. He was able to beat Uame and I'm to be able to get into the top 8. Once in the top 8, he was able to beat both Umeki and Sumo for a 3rd place finish. Just looked amazing overall. That combination of Wario and Falcon isn't super common as well, and I really want to see what he can do with those 2 characters. And the final player in the top 8 is going to be Yamanashi, using that combination of Steve and Luigi, though it is definitely mainly Steve. And this is a player that doesn't get nearly enough credit, and I feel like it's likely because most of his great results are coming from the regional level. If you look prior to this, his best performance is a 2nd place at Gen 1.1, got a bunch of very strong wins here. Now he's got a 2nd place here, has not been able to top a major yet, and I think the second that Yamanashi either wins one of these big B tier events or top 8's his first major, he is going to be absolutely unstoppable. These mental barrier breaks are so important for up-and-coming players like him, so really curious to see if he's going to be able to do that, and when he does do that, because I believe he is going to be able to, he is going to absolutely pop off. And our final event of the weekend, as well as the most stacked event of the weekend, is going to be Riptide 2023, coming in at a B+ tier. And as always, it had an insane amount of entries. I think it was like 700 or something. But as it was in the last Riptide, not as top heavy as you would expect for 700 entrants. For our top 8 seeds, your placements, you're going to have Leon and Lima in 7th, Zenodo and Doorstop in 5th, Icy Mist in 4th, Omega in 3rd, Aaron in 2nd, and muteace ended up winning the entire thing. And I'm going to talk about this right now before I forget. Doorstop's Pokemon Trainer versus Lima, specifically the Squirtle, was some of the most entertaining Smash I have ever watched. That Squirtle was absolutely cooking. I highly recommend that you watch that set. That is low-key one of my favorite sets that has happened in Smash Ultimate. The amount of times the Doorstop would just spam Squirtle down smash and it just wasn't an option that Lima could punish was insane. He was playing that matchup so incredibly well, and I know it's definitely a losing matchup for Bayonetta, at least Squirtle Bayo is, but it was just so fun to watch from Doorstop, so just thought I should mention that right away. We actually had some pretty insane upsets this tournament. You're going to have Chase, who is a top 8 seed, falling to Sonito in the winner's side of bracket, and then Doorstop in the loser's side of bracket. We'll get back to Doorstop's run again. It's very, very good. Apollo Kage as well, who is the second seed of the tournament. My pick to win the tournament actually ended up getting 9th place after losing to Atada in the winner's side of bracket, which is very understandable. I think that's still a very tough match for Snake. And Leon in the loser's bracket, which I did not expect. I think Bowser does well enough versus Snake where it's not unfathomable, but Leon was playing unbelievably well this event. And Apollo Kage did get picked up by 26 Rising this event, so huge shout out to him for that. Always nice to have another sponsor. But hey, we'll just chalk this one off to a sponsorship curse. It's like one of Apollo Kage's only inconsistent tournaments, at least at the regional level, so I wouldn't stress about it too much if I was him. Also, really quickly, I want to shout out Hammer Bro and Peanut for getting 13th place with Ice Climbers and Little Mac, respectively. Ice Climbers is a character that we're starting to see have decent amount of success in the meta, even outside of Big D. There's other good Ice Climbers players that are getting results. And Hammer Bro, this is a really nice run for him. I definitely didn't see it coming. He was able to get wins on Avian, Dice, Chunky Kong, Don, and Goblin, all in the loser side of bracket. So took out some extremely heavy hitters there. Big ups to him for that. Then unfortunately, right after that, he did lose to Ice Knight, who also popped up super hard this event, getting 9th place with Greninja, which is not something you see a lot, especially in America. But we got to talk about Peanut because he got 13th at a regional of this size with Little Mac, which I don't understand how he does it. He was able to beat both Z and Sonito at this event again with Little Mac. He is such an incredible player. It really makes me think, how good would Peanut be if he wasn't playing Little Mac? Because I feel like part of his skill, actually a lot of his skill, is definitely because he is playing Little Mac. He's the master of that character. He's put so much time into it. But his fundies as a player are so incredible that if he just really wanted to, I think he could pick up Aegis and probably be top 50 by the next couple months. In 7th place, you're going to have Leon and Lima. Technically underperformance from Lima and technically overperformance from Leon, but honestly, it's not really an underperformance when you get top 8, and I would expect to see Leon in this top 8, especially the way that he's been playing. He looked really, really good this event. He looked really good at high res. It seems like he's kind of found his groove back in the game again. At this event, he was able to beat Hawk, Sir Dank, and Sen to be able to get to Winner's Corvers, where he did get kind of thrashed by muteace, but to be fair, that matchup is literally unwinnable, and also muteace was on fire this event. In the loser side, though, I already touched on it. The fact that he beat Apollo Kage is absolutely ridiculous, and Leon is a player that can beat the top echelon players in this game. If you remember way back when he got his first breakout, it's because he beat players like Nairo, he beat players like Light, he beat players like Sam Sora. He did the unthinkable with Bowser, which is a character that I don't really know where to place right now in the current meta, because I still think highly of Bowser, but then I think about DLC Pack 2, and it's like, okay, well, he probably doesn't win any of those matchups. Then I look at the top 10, and it's like, okay, all those are probably -2s, and there's a lot of things where Bowser starts to struggle, but also Nair back here kills you at 50, so it doesn't really matter. Lima as well, technically an underperformance by seeding, but still, he looked pretty good at this event, continuing the trend of Bayonetta players having success. He was able to beat Ice Knight, and guys, kind of a team kill right there, which is a little unfortunate. Then he lost to Omega in the winner's side of bracket, ended up beating Sen to be able to get into top 8, and then once in the top 8, he did fall to Doorstop, as I already mentioned. The best set of the tournament, the best set of the weekend, one of the best sets of the year, in my opinion, but that's just probably because I like Pokemon Trainer. In 5th place, you're going to have Zenodo and Doorstop. Zenodo's a player that I feel like flies under the radar a lot in Smash Ultimate. If I had to guess why, it's probably just because he doesn't go to a ton of major events and people really only pay attention to top 8s of major events. But Zenodo, extremely talented player, did very well at this event, was able to beat Sonito, then lost to Aaron in the winner's side of bracket. So Aaron was the superior Diddy this time around. Ice Knight in the loser side of bracket, though, he was able to beat to be able to get into the top 8. Once in the top 8, he was also able to beat Leon. Almost got reversed through it, but managed to stop the bleeding at the most crucial moment. And then, unfortunately, had the mispleasure of running into Ice Mist, which is a player that he's played a lot and a player that he has also lost to a lot. So I wouldn't even be surprised if he didn't run into Ice Mist, a player that was super familiar with his play, if he went further and further into the bracket. You're going to have Doorstop as well. What a run from Doorstop. He's been an impressive player for a while now. You look at the start of the year, he was able to beat Quid at Let's Make Big Moves, maybe took away a bit of his power from the Pokemon trade. I'll stop talking about it right now because 90% of the run was done with Zero Suit, but that Lima set was good. He was able to beat Crows and then lost to Muteace. After losing to Muteace, though, he was able to beat Suspect to be able to get into the top 16. Once in the top 16, he was able to upset Chase, which is obviously massive, beat Atada as well to be able to get into top 8, and then once in top 8, he did beat Lima. Again, 99% of this run was done by Zero Suit, and by 99%, I mean literally all the run, except that set versus Lima, but I don't see a lot of Pokemon trainers, so that's why I'm excited about it. In 4th place, you're going to have Icy Mist. 3rd place, Omega. Icy Mist is definitely the best Samus in America. It's not even a question at this point. She was able to beat Hammer Bro, Loaf, Goblin, Atata, and Zanotto at this event. Just looks like an incredible player. And I think really the only thing that she needs to kind of break into being one of the frontrunners in America is to do one of these performances at the major level. And I know that she can do these performances at the major level. She just hasn't been able to yet. So hopefully that's going to come soon from Icy Mist, because I really do think she is an incredible player. I would even throw her into contention for the best Samus in the world. Definitely heavy favorites for Siski and Yara right now. Let's say 40-40 between them. But Icy Mist, she is in that 20%. I definitely think that she can take that title, and she's just such a good player. Omega as well, I would say that he's the best Joker in America. Obviously, that's not a title that's super contested for, unfortunately, but he did benefit from the pocket DQ in this bracket. But to be fair, he still had to work very hard because he had to make an upset over Kobe, which he did 3-0, by the way. Then he beat Atomic, then he beat Lima. This is to get into the top 8. Once in the top 8, he was able to beat Icy Mist before losing to Aaron and muteace. So Icy Mist and Omega, these are two players that I need to see at major events. If you are a TO and you want some crazy, stupid upsets to happen, you're going to invite Icy Mist and you're going to invite Omega, because they will get the job done. And our finalists are going to be Aaron in second and muteace, the first seed, winning the entire event. Not really a surprise there, though the fashion that he did it in was a little bit more interesting. But let's talk about Aaron first. Was able to beat Copel, Henry Luma, and Candle to be able to get into the top 16. Once in the top 16, he 3-0'd Zanotto in the Ditto. Once in the top 8, he reversed 3-0'd muteace, which is not something a lot of people can say. Beat Omega 3-1 to be able to get in the grand finals. And once he was in the grand finals, he did get 6-0, but still, he reversed the road muteace. And Aaron is a player that, when he took his big break, before his big break at least, he's a player that was consistently matching his seed or overperforming his seed by 1 or 2 placements. But he wasn't getting into the top 8, so it was a lot of 9s, 13s, 17s. He was getting close, but he wasn't quite getting there. Since Aaron has come back from his break, he's kept his consistency, but his peak is so much higher. I don't know what he's figured out. I don't know what he's been doing, but he has been looking phenomenal, and he needs to keep up the work, because at this point, I genuinely believe that Aaron can win a major. If you're able to reverse 3-0 someone of muteace's caliber, you can kind of do it all. And also, he beat Spargo. That's literally something that you're going to meet in the grand final. So yeah, Aaron is going to win a major, though he didn't quite win it this time around. I mean, this event wasn't a major, but muteace stole it from under his feet, and he stole a lot of games from people. He 3-0'd Doorstop, 3-0'd Icy Mist, 3-0'd Omega, and 6-0'd Aaron. Did not drop a single game once he dropped into the loser side of bracket. And speaking of players playing at their peak, muteace probably has the highest peak in the game, in my opinion. That feels a little bit weird to say, and I'm probably going to get fact checked there, but when muteace is playing at his best, it really feels like there is no one that can beat him. He looks absolutely unreal. That's another really big regional event for him that he's got to be feeling really nice about. And overall, Riptide was an incredible event. I actually really enjoyed this top 8. There were so many banger sets that I did not expect. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. The support has been absolutely unreal as of late. If there's any player left out at any point in the video or something that I got wrong, or if you just want to say hi, please let me know down below. Be sure to sub, all that yada yada, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.